All right. Am I okay to take this microphone off? Thanks. Chief Soul says no. I said, you're late. Tab. Welcome back, stragglers. All right. I'm excited to be able to come up here and share some thoughts and share some words this evening. When they offered me the opportunity to come up and speak, I said, how long do I get? They said about 10 to 15 minutes. I said, that's great. I don't know if they converted to chief minutes, which are twice as long as normal minutes, but I'll try not to be too long-winded. But congratulations to those master selects. What an exciting step it is. I think for me personally, it was one of the most exciting times of my life, realizing that I'd be able to be a part of the senior NCO tier in the Air Force. So that is a testament to you as a leader, to you as a technical expert, and as an amazing part of this Air Force team. So congratulations to you. It's exciting. I wanted to be able to share a few thoughts. There's kind of three ideas that I'd like to talk about tonight. But first, I also want to give some accolades to Sergeant Merriweather, that national anthem. Let's give him a round of applause. I love it. In fact, he was kind of over there like meditating. I could tell he's just kind of hyping himself up. And I went over there. I was like, every time I listen to you, I think in my mind, I sang a little bit. It's nothing like what he does. But I'm like, I just want to get up there, break into a bass line, maybe a little tenor, join in with you. He's like, let's go, Chief. But maybe with a couple months of warm-up and practice, I'd love to do that. And Chaplain Joey, thanks so much for your invocation, your prayer as we got started here as well. I was hoping you were going to throw in there a little prayer for me. Lord, please don't let Chief Moon mess this up. But I had that prayer in my heart going on, and again, I'm excited to be able to share some thoughts with you. So, three kind of ideas that I want to talk about. The first one being the question I was asking myself, and there were a lot of things that were going through my head as I was trying to come up with what to talk about. One of the things I started thinking about was the question of why are we here? So I know that can stem to a lot of different things, from birds and the bees to creation. How do we get here? But really, in my mind, I was thinking of the military national defense side of things, our Air Force. Why am I here in the Air Force today? And I think it's a salient question for us to consider. We all take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And as I thought about it, and I thought about what does that really mean to defend the Constitution? So you know what? I spend very little, if any, time thinking about the Constitution itself and what words are in the Constitution. How was it created? What went into that process? Because it's a piece of paper, right, with words on it. I don't think any of us are naive enough to think we're defending this 200-year-old piece of paper and what is there. It's the ideals behind it. It's the mindset behind it. And so I started doing my own kind of studying of that this last week or two. And I often go to the Declaration of Independence, and most of us are very familiar with 4th of July, 1776. We make a declaration against our, we'll say, friends across the ocean, and we say that no more. I will stand over here. Is that a cue? All right, I'm standing right here. Okay. Declaration of Independence. Can I move this a little bit? 1776. So let me just read one little part that I'll take out of the Declaration of Independence. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So the Declaration of Independence was really what we believed. It was what we want. So that invoked a little scuffle between a couple countries. Took us a little bit to fight for those rights and freedoms, that mindset and those ideals that we believed to be inherently what we were all allowed, every person. And so it was a number of years later when we actually were putting our Constitution to work. And I don't know if everybody's familiar, but that wasn't a quick process either. So George Washington, a number of folks came together and led constitutional discussions and sat down for months discussing, all right, we know what we want. We said that in the Declaration of Independence. How do we actually enable that to happen in this new birthed nation? And they continued to talk for over a year as everyone gave their considerations of what do we know from our past? What do we think would just be a better way forward? And so the Constitution is really, how do we get there? And so let me read the preamble of the U.S. Constitution. It says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." So we see a lot of the same things that we saw with the preamble as well, with the Declaration of Independence, of Declaration of Liberty, our ability to pursue happiness, and that is a right to every person that is here. And so they continued on to that year. They came with 7 initial articles that they agreed upon for the Constitution, and that really outlined really what we understand today. 3 branches, all with checks and balances to not allow somebody to have too much power, a legislation that is voted in by the people, and really outlined how that was going to work between these 3 branches. So after the year, there was still a holdout, though. A number of the states were quick to ratify that new Constitution, but based on the 7th article, they had to get at least 9 of the states to be able to agree before they could officially call it a constitution. So Maryland and a few other states, they held out, and they said, no, we're not doing it. The reasoning be, all right, you have all these rules on checks and balances, 3 branches, how this will be set up, Congress, the House, Senate, all of that, but it doesn't speak back to the preamble and the things we believed on why we need this. And so they held it up, and a number of folks continue to hold it up for another 6 months as they discussed, what does it mean to really be free? Why are we even fighting for these things? And so they continued to give the brief outline of what would become the Bill of Rights and the 10 first amendments of 27 eventually, but the first 10 amendments that really you hear probably the most referenced of the Constitution is those things stating that we are free. We should be free to assemble, to speak, to worship, to seek happiness in these ways. And so that later in 1787 ended up being incorporated, and we ended up having finally New Hampshire being the last state, which actually signed with enough now votes to create the Constitution, which we solemnly swear to uphold and defend. We go as far as saying that we will lay our lives on the line for these ideals. It's a mindset. We talk very often about battle and what we fight for. And it's very easy to talk about the battle on the battlefield. We understand movement and force and power and aircraft and maintenance in the air. Hooah. So we understand all of those things. They're very easy to understand and to communicate. But oftentimes there is a competition, and one that I like to speak to frequently is that competition for ideals and mindset. That is a battlefront I feel we need to focus on for our new senior NCOs, for our chiefs, for our officers, for our young airmen and NCOs. There is a struggle. If we lose that mindset, then what are we really fighting for? Why are we really here? So battling for our minds is one thing that I like to focus on. So we live in a free country. It is amazing. But there are struggles that come along with that. I would be very surprised if anyone in this room was able to say that they haven't had something that was a struggle in their life. Perhaps the Air Force was a part of what induced that struggle in your life. Perhaps it was a relationship or the economy. Whatever it might be, there's probably something that you mentally have struggled with in your life. My wife and I, are no exemption to this as well. And there's an experience I'd like to share with you just briefly of where I've realized this and learned a strong lesson in how important it is for us to fight for what's up here as well. A few years back, I think I just found out that I had made chief at the time. I was sitting as a squadron superintendent, and our group chief was away. I had the opportunity to go up and to work with the group commander and that team and be able to spend some time with them. And it was close to the holidays. So we were up there knowing that the holidays can be very challenging for a number of folks. We decided to make this video, and we were going to show a video of helping agencies. We gave out our own phone numbers. We spoke about the importance of taking care of your own mentality through the holidays. And we were done with it. We high-fived each other. We were impressed with ourselves. It went out on some social media page. And then I got a message. So let me rewind to a week or two prior to that. A week or two prior, I had gone home to my house after a long day of work and, felt like I had done a lot there, had been a success. Summer and I sat down and we were having a conversation. She approached me because she was feeling a struggle just with life and how things were going. And so she opened up and expressed to me all of her concerns and her desire to go out and seek some help and to go see a therapist or a doctor or just talk to her primary care manager and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. What do I do from here? So she brought that up to me, and in the back of my mind as she's speaking, I'm just going through what's going on here? I just found out I was promoted. We have 3 kids, happy and healthy. School is going well for them. Job is working well. And I'm thinking of all these things. I'm like, why would you have any problems? And to be honest, I probably felt a bit of, oh, well, this is going to be embarrassing if, you have to go get help. And so I don't say anything, which is probably the worst thing. It'd probably been better to just get in a fight about it, but I say nothing. And I just kind of move on in my own thoughts. And so here we are a week later, creating this video saying, hey, your mental health matters. Here's all of the resources that are available. We're here for you. Here's my own phone number. And I get a text from Summer. Finally, she's like, all right, I have to say something. I have to say more. It's something that hit me so much here that I keep it on my phone so I can remember and reflect what we went through at that time. But this is what Summer, and I'll just take a couple short parts out of here. But this is what I read. It took a lot of courage for me to admit to the doctor that I needed help with my depression. I feel like I could keep moving on like I normally do and would probably do okay at coping, but I found as I've worked on myself and my thought patterns, and I've done these things that are helpful for mental health, that some things keep coming back around and bite me in the butt. I also need help with some of my own thought patterns. I want help with coping skills, with stress. I want to be able to be the mother I want to be at all of the time, not just some of the time. When I initially brought it up, you gave me a snarky comment and then wouldn't show any support. When I brought it up again, you still said nothing. Yet you go online and you tout that resiliency is important and give resources. It felt like a giant slap in the face. Why am I not allowed to seek help? Why, as your partner, am I not allowed to struggle? I get up in the morning in a timely manner. I exercise, I get fresh air. I read uplifting things. I'm doing so many things I know to be helpful, and at this moment in time, it's not quite enough, and that's fine. Counseling won't be forever. It will get me through a rough patch. I would hope that as my husband, you would show some compassion, but I have felt none. I'll fight this alone, no matter what, because I know, in the end, it will only help me. And of course, and worst case scenario, it's not going to hurt anything. I know you love me. I know you like me to be strong and to be able to do it all. I know I fall short a lot. I'm asking you to please be my partner in this. Wow, it just hit me so hard. I immediately saw the error of my ways and thought about what a mistake. My own wingman, my closest confidant, to go out and preach these things but not follow them myself. So we had to have tough conversations, and Summer was able to go and to use the resources that are available to seek support. I've been able to do the same. I hope you realize that your mental strength is the greatest weapon that we need in this nation. Something you need to take care of, to continue to work towards. And that when people come to you, you will not just be somebody who gives lip service to what is important in life, but will take the step to be supportive, to hold someone's hand, and to get them to where they need to be. So, new senior NCOs in the top tier, welcome. We're excited for you. I hope you've taken the time. I know last week you had the opportunity to go through professional development and spend a lot of time talking about what does this mean to be a senior NCO. I hope you took time to look through the Little Brown Book, look into chapter 4 on roles and responsibilities, and see, what is actually expected of me. There's 4 different areas you'll find there for a senior NCO, and I'm not going to go through all of those. I highlighted just one that I want to speak to, and that is in the area of developing ideas. There are just 2 ideas that they bring forward in that. And the last one being create a sense of urgency to overcome inaction and take steps to develop trust among the various parties. So along with the experiences I've shared with you, that's what I encourage of you, is to take action, to get out and do things, to stop lying to yourself and others, because we often live in an inflated environment where sometimes we'll tell ourselves we're doing great to avoid the hard conversations that we really need to have. I actually stole that, stop lying to yourselves, because Chief Stolzfus told me that earlier. I don't know if he's specifically talking to me and I need to stop lying to myself or what it was, but I appreciated it, I wrote it down, and I stole it. But here's what I want you to know, and not just those amazing selectees, but all of you in this room. I want you to know your worth, because it's amazing. I want you to fight for your freedom, because that's what we really mean when we talk about the Constitution. And I want you to fight for your happiness and for the happiness of others. If you seek after these principles and doing these things, you'll find yourself to continue to be a great leader, to shape this nation to be what we hope it could always be. So I do want to say some thanks. Colonel Wickert, I appreciate you allowing us to be up here and supporting us in this event and activity. Colonel promotion, field promotion, you got it. Chief Stolzfus, thank you so much for being here with us. Everybody from the team that made this happen, the crew here at the club, those that went into organizing, amazing job. MCs, I appreciate everything you do. We cannot say thank you enough. Please go home and say thank you to those who help support you. And with that, I'll just end with thank you.
Thank you, Chief Moon.
Attaching chevrons to the military uniform dates back as far as 1821. The practice of officers wearing chevrons lasted only a few short years and were phased out by 1829. Our own Air Force chevrons began with General Hoyt S. Vandenberg. In March of 1948, General Vandenberg, the Air Force Chief of Staff, approved the first Air Force enlisted chevron.
One theory behind the design of the chevron is the stripes might have been trying to combine the shoulder patch worn by members of the Army Air Force during World War II and the insignia used on aircraft. The patch featured wings with a pierced star in the center, while the aircraft insignia was a star with 2 bars. The stripes could be the bars from the aircraft insignia slanted gracefully upward to suggest wings. The silver gray color contrasts with the blue uniform and may suggest clouds against blue sky. However, there is no definitive explanation as to the design.
Just 2 years later, on February 20th, 1950, General Vandenberg directed the term airmen would be used for enlisted persons in the Air Force to differentiate them from soldiers and sailors. The revision to the Air Force Regulation 3936, April 24, 1952, finally gave the Air Force its own enlisted rank structure. The highest rank under the new structure was the Master Sergeant. The Military Pay Act of 1958 added to the enlisted structure for all services the senior grades of E8 and E9, thus establishing the top 3 as we know it today.
However, we will wait until 1999 or 1991 for the Master Sergeant chevrons to be updated to the version you see here tonight. General McPeak and Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Fingston would propose moving one of the stripes from the bottom of the Master Sergeant, Senior Master Sergeant, Chief Master Sergeant, and Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force chevrons and placing it at the top. This transition would unify the look for the Senior NCO Corps used in today's Air Force and Space Force.
Inductees, please stand. This Senior NCO Corps carries significantly increased responsibilities and requires a broad technical and managerial perspective. Each promotion within the enlisted ranks is a significant step in one's career. However, no step is as significant as the one that takes the NCO into the Senior NCO tier. It is with great pleasure that those present welcome you into the position of elevated authority, responsibility, and capability on behalf of our great Air and Space Force. As a member of this elite group, you have a responsibility to your fellow senior NCOs, even as they have a responsibility to you. Do you accept the responsibilities levied upon you? Then prepare for your recognition.
Tonight we honor the newest group, senior non-commissioned officers, to have the honor of wearing the Master Sergeant chevrons. Colonel Wickert and Chief Master Sergeant Stolfus, would you please come forward to present our inductees with their recognition certificates? Ladies and gentlemen, as the names are called, please show your support. Master Sergeant-Select Andrew Austin.
Select Michael Donovan.
Master Sergeant Select Christine Eichmann.
Moving along, we have Master Sergeant Select Grace Furquin.
Master Sergeant Select Zane Furquin, who is also celebrating his 28th birthday today.
Next is Master Sergeant Select Arlisha Fussell.
Next up is Master Sergeant Select Michael Gianfrancesco.
Next, we have Master Sergeant Select Jessica Guerrero.
Next up is Master Sergeant Select Johnny Hakeem.
Moving along, we have Master Sergeant Select Tevin Harris.
Next up is Master Sergeant Select Zachariah Howard.
Next up, we have Master Sergeant Select Adriana Martinez.
Next up is Master Sergeant Mitchell McDonald.
Next, we have Master Sergeant Select Ryan O'Neill.
Next up is Master Sergeant Select Antone Scheffelbein. Next up is Master Sergeant Select Casey Snyder.
Coming to the stage is the world's greatest supply troop, Master Sergeant Select Jessica Stainbrook. Let's go!
Next is Master Sergeant Select Bianca Thomas.
Next up, we have Master Sergeant Select Stanley Wesley.
And last but not least, sporting the best mustache at Club Muroc, Master Sergeant Select Elliot Williams.
Thank you, Colonel Wickard and Chief Master Sergeant Stoltzfus. Chief, it would be an honor for you to provide some remarks.
This better not crack on me, man. That's all I'm saying. Hey, hold it up higher. Come on, that's not a joke, dude. That's not fair. Ha ha ha! Keep laughing. Now, just real quick, I'd like to do a couple thanks, especially to the MCs. I'll tell you, it's not easy to get up here and do this kind of stuff. Right? Thank you guys. You guys look professional, and you did a great job. I really, really appreciate it. I'd also like to say to my brother, Chief Moon, wow, that was moving, man. I'll tell you, if you haven't had the opportunity to get up there and talk about your spouse while they're sitting right in front of you, I'll tell you, I've tried to do that before, and Jess goes, never again. But great job. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, give him a round of applause, please. And I'd also like to thank his wife, Summer. That's not an easy thing to do, right? All those years supporting people. Thank you for what you do for our country as well. I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, guys. All right, so to the inductees, you're going to put another stripe on the top of your uniform there, right? Tell you a couple quick notes here. I'm a civil engineer troop, and what I think about when I think about a mass sergeant, I think about that roof, right, like everybody says. But I also think about the thing that holds that roof up, and that's the foundation. Don't forget where you came from, right? That's an important lesson. How strong is your foundation? Think about that for a little bit. If it's not strong enough, you might need to rebuild some of it so the walls stay up and the roof stays on when that storm comes. Because let me tell you, it's coming. No matter how you feel about it, right? It's going to be tough. I'm up here to tell you the truth. Like he said earlier, stop lying and tell each other the truth. That's what makes us stronger as a team. All right? So I got this opportunity to talk to another senior NCO induction group about a week ago. And one of the things I shared with them, I'll share a little bit about that with you guys tonight, not to go too long, but it's the 4 things you can never take back in life. All right? And they're vitally important to senior NCOs because nobody knows how long you've had that stripe on. And it resonated with me the other day when me and Colonel Wickert were doing our out and abouts, and we met the mass sergeant over there in the physical therapy room, and I had no idea how long he was a master sergeant until somebody told me. All I knew is he was a master sergeant. And I could go to him when I needed something. Because with that stripe comes responsibility, and I need you to be able to take it seriously. The 4 things you can never take back in life. The last word you said. Your words are loud now, but they're even louder as a senior NCO. And don't waste them. I won't go into the plethora of things I talked about, but it is important that you think about what you say before you say it as a senior NCO, because they want to be you, and they should want to be you. You got people looking up to you more now than ever, and we need your leadership more now than we ever have before in our Air Force history. The second thing is an opportunity missed, right? An opportunity to get up here and be an MC, an opportunity to put an event together, right? An opportunity to get up and give a speech. Those are opportunities. Do not run from them. That's what will help you prepare for the storm when it comes, is being ready and having gone through things in your life, like you heard my friend Chief Moon talk about earlier. It's that resiliency that allows us to continue to move forward when we don't think we can. And when you fall, it's the resiliency that helps you get up off the ground and continue to move. You must, as a senior NCO, get up off the ground and continue to move forward. We expect that of you. The third is time wasted. What are you spending your time on? Think about that for a little bit. It's funny where you learn things. For me, most of it came through failure. Most of the things I've learned came through failure. I was in Incirlik before I came here, and I was talking to a young lady, and she's like, Chief, I need you to come and teach the Rising 4 about time management. So if you know anything about me, you know that's like not my strong point at all. There's a lot of people in this room right now that could tell you that. But I thought about it for a while, and I thought to myself, well, let me teach them what not to do. Because one of the lessons that I've learned the hard way is learn from the mistakes of others so you don't make a lifetime of your own. Learn from the mistakes of others so you don't make a lifetime of your own. That's a powerful message in itself. So this young lady teaches me, Leslie teaches me, she's like, hey, Chief, I got a way we can help you with your time management. Write down what you do every hour of the day for 1 week. And look where your time is spent. Where are you spending your time? As a senior NCO, it's going to be vitally important you understand that you spend time on what's important. And what's important, if you're not aware yet, is your teammates. And that includes your spouse. That was a good message. I'm an emotional guy, man, I'll tell you. I couldn't have done that, man, so good on you. Spending your time on what's important, and that's your teammates. So I came up with a math formula because we're here at the test wing and everybody's a mathlete. Right? And it goes something like this. It's strategically simplistic because I'm from Philadelphia and the schools there are not as good as they are in other parts of the country. Okay? The math formula goes like this. Me has never equaled us, ever. Ever. And tomorrow, it's less about you and more about us. It is about us. And we will not survive if it's not about us. What is a senior NCO's number one job? I know Chapter 4 really, really, really well. Because somebody called me out in a crowd of 500 people and told me to stand up and said, hey, Master Sergeant Stoltz, what chapter are your responsibilities in? That was the last time they ever had to ask me that. Chief Moon already gave you the answer today, Chapter 4. And in there, it says what your number one job is. It's to build effective teams to accomplish the mission. You are now the orchestrator of these teams that will accomplish the mission. You turn to your left, you turn to your right. Hopefully there's teammates there, but if they're not, people are looking at you to build these effective teams. And you need to be able to do it. The last one, and what I consider the most important one, is trust lost. If you don't know by now, trust is the most important thing in every relationship you'll ever have in your life. It takes years to build, seconds to lose, and a lifetime to get back. Jess reminds me of that each and every day of my life. As a senior NCO, you have instant credibility because of the stripes on your uniform. But don't you ever forget that that's the show muscle. It's the go muscle behind those stripes that matters. And that's what builds credibility. And credibility builds trust. And trust builds effective teams. And I'll leave you with this. My message is, I need you to act like a senior NCO. And what do I mean by that? Attitude equals elevation. Your attitude as a senior NCO is vitally important. The other day, I walked through the BX and I heard an individual tell two teammates around him that this does not matter. That was loud, and it was a senior NCO. Choose your words carefully and know who's around you. That trust is so vitally important to our success. And how you build that trust is by doing what you say you're going to do. You heard Chief Moon talk about it earlier, right? If you say you're going to do something, you must follow through because credibility builds trust. Let's do a little test here. What are the 4 things? The last word you said. Come on, this is interactive, guys. Opportunity missed, the time wasted, and trust lost. This is a huge night for you. Like Chief talked about earlier, don't ever forsake the individuals that help you get to where you're at. Because without them, we wouldn't be standing here or sitting here tonight celebrating, right? So thank you guys for what you've done. Thank you for what you will do for our United States Air Force. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thanks, Chief.
We would like to take a moment to thank Club Marat for the wonderful meal they provided this evening, and the 412th Test Wing for your contribution towards our medallions. We would also like to give a special thanks to the SWORD team, the Edwards Air Force Base Top 3, and all of our volunteers. Without their dedication and hard work, tonight's event would not have been possible.
Inductees, please come forward to form the receiving line and affirm the senior NCO charge, then remain in place for a group photo.
Chief Master Sergeant Engel, will you please come forward to read the charge? Team Edwards Senior NCOs, will you please stand to join our newest Senior NCO inductees in affirming the charge?
Just want to say, hey, thanks for the opportunity there, Chief Stoltz. I really appreciate it. So what you don't know is that about a month ago I was promoted and they gave him the charge last minute to come read to me, so I feel like it's payback for that, right? So with that, though, comes the opportunity to take advantage of what the Chief was talking about. You only get to wear this uniform X amount of days, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, or 30 years. Take advantage of those opportunities. So thank you, Chief, for that. Ready to take the charge? You are charged to hold allegiance to your country, devotion to duty, and personal integrity above all. You are charged with wearing your rank of authority with dignity to promote the highest standards of conduct, appearance, and performance by setting the example. You are charged to seek no favors because of your rank. You are charged to be devoted to the concept of service rather than personal gain. You are charged to uphold the traditions of senior non-commissioned officers who have preceded you. You are charged to manage the resources under your control with astute efficiency and lead the way with the highest level of competence. You are charged to always strive to merit the respect of your fellow senior non-commissioned officers and of all with whom you come in contact. Do you accept this charge? I accept.
Thank you, Chief Engel. Colonel Wickert, would you please come forward to give some closing remarks?
All right, thanks a lot. This will be quick, so you guys you are standing at ease. You can stand at more ease if you want. Relax just a little bit. So one more thank you to Katie and the great club staff for a fantastic dinner. Our crack team from Public Affairs for all the sound and the photos and capturing. The MCs, thank you. And everybody else that helped put this on. These things just don't happen. And Master Sergeant Merriweather. Wow. Today when we were through there, I had absolutely no idea. And when he got, actually, I saw him earlier today, and then he opened his mouth and started singing, and wow. So this is a big difference, right? The senior NCO rank, visually, it's a lot different. And when you walk in and you see that chevron, the expectations are a lot different. So you have led before, but the nature of the leadership that we expect of you now is different. You are now going to be developing leaders as part of your leadership charge. And you heard some great word from my partner, Chief Stoltz, on what that means. One of the mentors that I had used to tell a little parable that, if you walk along and you see a turtle sitting on a fence post, you know that it didn't get there by itself. You guys are up on the fence post now, and what I want you to do is think back. You didn't get there by yourself, right? There is somebody that helped you along the way that developed you into the leader that we now expect you to be. And what you need to do now as a senior NCO is build those leaders that we're going to need. And you saw a great example of it tonight from Chief Moon. A lot of courage, a lot of, be willing to show that vulnerability, set the example. Chief Moon and Summer, thank you for letting him share that story. I'm sure it was cleared through sync spouse. If it wasn't, then then very low situational awareness, but. But it's okay to be vulnerable. There's an authenticity there that you saw, and that touched me. And use that. You got to be yourself. But it's now your turn to start picking up turtles and putting them on fence posts. All right. Everybody, have a good night. Thanks for coming out, and congratulations once more to all of our new Master Sergeants.
Thank you, Colonel Wickert. Ladies and gentlemen, remain standing. Remain standing as our inductees lead us in the recital of the Airman's Creed. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. We invite all of you to congratulate our new inductees. Please follow tonight's hosts, then group and squadron commanders in the receiving line. On behalf of the 412th Test Wing, we would like to wish you all a safe and pleasant evening.
Absolutely. Loved it. Loved it.